Thank you. And we're going to have our annual meeting right now. So I'm opening the meeting. Again, my name is Caroline Duroselle-Melish, and I'm the president of the Bibliographical Society. And trying to find my notes here. Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone, and I hope you have enjoyed the papers this afternoon as much as I have. They've been really wonderful. Thank you again for all our speakers. Today's meeting is taking place at Convene at 530 Fifth Avenue in New York City. And about 78 people are in attendance. Many more are attending the meeting online. When we settled on this venue a while ago, we assumed that because of the pandemic, there would be fewer people attending in person. We were also conscious of the sky-high cost of rental space in New York City in an age of hybrid meetings. We are delighted to see and amazed to see so many people today and wanting to attend this meeting. We regret that we could not accommodate everyone, but next year we will gather in a larger venue, welcoming our greater community to gather in person. Having been BSA's president now for a year, I am regularly impressed by the number of things that BSA members accomplish. Putting this in perspective, 61 BSA members are volunteering on the council, 12 committees, 2 working groups, and 2 subcommittees. I could not be more grateful for all the work that you are doing. This is huge. A lot of people. Thank you also for today's volunteers who are helping in making this event going smoothly. And thank you very much to Erin McGurl, Executive Director. Without whom it would not be possible to be here today. Where is Erin? Oh, here, thank you. Hello. This year, several council members and committee chairs are rotating off. Thank you very much to all of you for your work on behalf of BSA. I would like to especially thank David van der Meulen, who served as BSA delegate to ACLS for 20 years. We have a special calligraphic certificate to present to David, which is really beautiful in recognition of his service. David, we hope that you are watching from home, and we miss you here in New York. Thank you again. I also would like to thank and welcome our incoming chairs and council members who are joining or renewing their term on the council, and committee members who are becoming involved in the society for the first time. This is heartening to see so many new people who want to work for BSA. The society could not function as well without its generous donors. I would like to thank this year's sponsors of the annual meeting who are making today's event possible. We would not be able to offer so many fellowships without the support of our donors. And here I would like to thank for their continuing support, Bruce and Mary Crawford and Barbara Scheller, sponsors of the Dorothy Porter Wesley Fellowship, the Pine Tree and the Peck Stackpole Foundations, sponsors respectively of several BSA fellowships. Likewise, the New Scholars Program is generously funded by George Hong, an anonymous donor. I'm also happy to report that thanks to the gift of another anonymous donor, a new award, the D.F. Mackenzie New Scholar Award, has been recently established for the New Scholars Program. I am proud to be part of a BSA that continues to build the culture of philanthropy that Barbara Scheller worked to establish during her term as president. One major accomplishment this year has been meeting our challenge grant goal of $22,000. I would like to thank current and former council members who created and supported the 2022 challenge grant and everyone who helped us reach it through the annual fund. This fundraising success is helping to support the multiple activities of the society. You will hear shortly from Vice President Megan Peiser and Executive Director Erin McGurl about some of the key developments of the year 2022. This year, the Council has established a list of exciting new projects to focus on. You will see the results of this work in the coming year, so stay tuned. Another important event this year was the reduction to almost zero of BSS portfolio exposure to fossil fuels. Recognizing that climate change and related extreme weather pose an existential threat to the preservation of cultural heritage materials that bibliographers work with, the Council and Investment Committee agreed that the Society's mission is well served by a move toward divestment from fossil fuel equities. Thank you all for being part of BSA. Let me now turn the meeting over to Vice President Megan Peiser.
Halito. So hochifoya Megan Peiser chata oyosia, Beverly Payne, Supokni, Barry Peiser, Anki, Oklahoma Atachata, Owawe Antinag Atali. Hello, my name is Megan Peiser. I am a citizen of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma, the granddaughter of Beverly Payne, the daughter of Barry Peiser. Our removal lands are in Oklahoma, but I do my work and live as a guest in Waweantanag, where the curved shores meet, currently called Detroit, the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Anishinaabe people, specifically of the Three Fires Confederacy, comprising of the Odawa, the Ojibwe, and the Potawatomi. Our Land Acknowledgement Committee is working carefully to craft an official land acknowledgement statement for BSA. This is an undertaking that requires time and care, requires a commitment to Indigenous communities, and discussions with Native leadership. It requires a deep understanding of the so-called United States past, and I commend the committee for continuing to take great care in their work to craft a land acknowledgement statement for BSA that we can stand behind with actions, not just empty words. As an Indigenous woman, however, I could not come to this gathering without a land acknowledgement. You see, land acknowledgements are part of Indigenous tradition since time immemorial, though they are newly adopted by settler institutions. When we gather, we acknowledge the Great Mother that makes our lives possible. We acknowledge the lands that birth and grew us, and the land that makes our sacred gathering with our relatives possible in that moment. Together, I have the great privilege to stand with you all today on the traditional and ancestral homelands and waters of the Lenape people. The Lenape were forcibly removed from their homelands by settler colonists, first put under the jurisdiction of the Six Nations, and during the removal period were pushed to what is currently known as Canada, Kansas, and Oklahoma. I come with gratitude for their honorable stewardship of this land and acknowledge that my being here as an uninvited guest is the result of government-sanctioned genocide, land theft, and orchestrated violence that continues today. BSA honors our commitment to the Lenape people and this land through paying a reparations land tax to Lenape Land Trust. If you are a guest on this land, I invite you to do the same. The PayPal information for the land trust is here on the screen. Yakoke Chimegwich to my Lenape kin. Thank you. All right, I want to give you a short shout out to just some of the work that our committees have done the past year, knowing that I cannot possibly acknowledge all of their caring labor in the time that I have. Financially, the Audit Committee transitioned us to a new auditing firm. The Policies and Procedures Manual Working Group, in addition to completing the bylaws revision, including virtual elections, hooray, also completed the revision of the finance section in November, a absolutely huge undertaking. The Investments Committee revised our investments policy and led the way for our divestment from fossil fuels, an action that aligns with our Equity Action Plan and shows the long-term care for BSA under climate change. And our Development Committee has ensured that we met our challenge grant goal and has successfully funded the Dorothy Porter Fellowship. Another hurrah. Publications-wise, the Publications Committee are rethinking the future of our bibliographical imprints. BibSite was launched earlier this year with great success, and the Digital Strategy Working Group is continuing their labor on the website redesign, which will support transparent sharing of information to our members and increase the accessibility of our digital content. The PBSA redesign is underway and is looking fantastic. The membership working group officially became a standing committee and have taken on the management of the newsletter to streamline communications with our membership. Our fellowship committee reviewed 38 applications last year and awarded 15 fellowships and will be continuing that work for the next award cycle this month. Our nominating committee brought us our slate for the council class of 2026. The new scholars committee received dozens of competitive applications to award the prizes to our wonderful 2023 cohort and continues to revise the specifics of this program for transparency and the best support of emerging scholars in the field. The events committee organized 14 events this year with more in-person components than last year while still maintaining a virtual and hybrid option. This accessible commitment to both in-person and virtual events is evident in the over 1,400 subscribers to our YouTube channel and the almost 30,000 views of BSA YouTube videos. Yeah, I sat and did that math and was shocked. You guys, you're really watching those videos. This work would not have been possible without the Liaisons Committee, which continues to shape and strengthen our partnership with peer organizations. It has been an honor to work with the chairs this year, especially those outgoing who are moving on for their valuable work at the BSA. Liz Ott, the chair of the membership committee, Nick Wilding, the chair of the publications committee, Hope Mayo and Haven Hawley, chairs for the fellowship committee, and Kathy Parisian, chair of the BSA liaisons committee. We've done all of this work while ushering in a policy of a compassionate accountability, where we check in on one another and encourage equitable labor commitments amongst our committee members and leaders. Thank you so much to all of you for making time for BSA in your busy lives. This thriving community would not exist without you. I see you. Thanks.
Hi. That's not me. So, hello, welcome everyone. It's so nice to be here with all of you. I know you've heard from me for months to get everything together, and it's just, this is a hard week for me. I work long days, and the thing that keeps me going, my metaphor lately is gas in the tank, is all of your faces and enthusiasm. Truly, it just keeps me going to see everybody all together. So thank you so much. To all those watching from home or somewhere else that isn't here, we're so glad to be able to broadcast our program to you. And I want to thank the staff here at Convene, as well as our videographer, Jana Dagdagan, whose production and technology expertise make that possible. I cannot do this without them. I know this venue isn't exactly what most of us in the library, academic, and book collecting worlds are used to. It does seem really fancy. But which actually, it's it's humane. There's beverages and food for us the whole time. Can you imagine? We might need to eat or drink. But I want to commend this company and its staff for welcoming us back each year, not only as a host, but also as a sponsor. And you make my job so much easier. I also want to thank the 5 volunteers who are at the back of the room: Charlotte Priddle, Jasmine Sykes-Kunk, Tad Bamer, Kelly Bullard, and Charles Tolkien Gillett. They were here early this morning to help set up our publications display, our name badge table, and also the membership table that's over at the side. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm here to report briefly on our progress on the Equity Action Plan, the EAP. In November 2020, the Council and officers approved a detailed plan outlining actions that we are taking to create a more equitable BSA. As stated in the EAP, material texts created by/for and all texts studied by members of underrepresented groups deserve better representation within all forms of bibliographical scholarship. Everyone deserves a professional community that values their work and provides meaningful, equitable opportunities for advancement in various ways. We want the BSA to be one of those spaces where everyone feels valued and welcome. We print quarterly reports in every issue of PBSA, so rather than go into a detailed account of everything we have done, I'm just going to highlight some major milestones. Co-editors of PBSA, Sarah Werner and Jesse Erickson, are making good on the EAP's commitment to broadening the content coverage of the journal and securing significant representation of members of underrepresented groups on the advisory board. So as Megan Peiser just said, a redesign of the journal will be launched with the March issue of PBSA. It looks awesome. I'm so excited. And that happened thanks to the support of an anonymous donor. I urge you to read it carefully. I won't spill the beans on the new PBSA advisory board, but I'm excited about the new look of the journal and very proud to have so many of the brightest lights in the field working with Drs. Werner and Erickson in an advisory capacity. President Caroline Duroselle-Melish and I worked together to finalize guiding values for diversity, equity, and inclusion for the nominating committee in 2022, sharing them with the nominating committee and posting them to our website early in the summer. I'm so lucky to have such a brilliant, intellectually generous, and committed group of council members, and I look forward to working with new voices in BSA leadership in the years to come. The Policy and Procedures Manual Working Group is busy. I'm looking at all of you who are on that group. You're the best. And one of the most important things that that group has achieved has been a policy for committee appointments and term limits for all BSA committee and working group volunteers. In the past few years, we've welcomed dozens of new volunteers onto BSA committees. Our organization is enriched by their energy, their ideas, and their desire to serve. Term limits are important for many reasons, not least of which is their alignment with compassionate accountability. I commend the council for approving the PPM's group's policy. That's not parts per million, that's policy and procedure manual working group. And I echo Caroline in thanking and marveling at the work that our volunteers do. It is truly one of the highlights of my work as executive director to collaborate with all of you and support your vision for BSA programs. Finally, and continuing this discussion of committee work, I'm pleased to say that President Caroline Duroselle-Melish has created a new working group for fellows and fellowships, which is charged with improving outreach with fellows during their fellowship period, creating new opportunities for engagement with the society, and connecting them with the bibliographical community around the BSA. As Paloma Solis Carbajal will discuss in her report on 2023's fellowship awards, which Megan discussed receiving 38 proposals last year. It's a lot more this year. They worked really hard. This program has for a long time supported an incredibly diverse range of projects and from many different individuals. So I'm really excited to see this new working group spring into action right after this meeting, and see BSA share more about our fellows' fabulous work and successful research and publications. Within the Development Committee, we've been actively seeking new financial and other strategic resources to support the work our committees do. Thanks to the Delmas Foundation, the BSA will be able to invest in an outreach project to learn more about how we can best share the good work that we are doing with the broad community and members and friends devoted to the study of the material text. From the time the organization was founded in 1904 until very recently, BSA's outreach model was simple. We mailed print resources to our members and subscribing libraries. The bibliographical resources we develop today extend beyond print, and most of our resources are accessible to everyone 24/7 on BibSite, YouTube, BSA-affiliated websites, electronic newsletters, and social media accounts. And that's saying nothing of the resource that this community of actual human beings is. which is absolutely the greatest asset this organization has. While these new web-based resources and distribution networks offer unparalleled opportunities for outreach, they remain underutilized without a strong digital outreach strategy and the right delivery tools. So I will be working with a consultant this spring to understand how bibliographers find the tools and information BSA offers online and elsewhere, because I know how to do my own bibliography, I know how to work in a library, and I know how to run this organization pretty well. I do not know how to basically market our materials. That is not an expertise that I have or that anyone really in this room really has, because you're all really good at doing stuff with books. This is a whole other thing. So we are hiring someone who is an expert in that very skill to perform an assessment of the society's audience, BSA members and others engaged in bibliographical research, and understanding existing digital on-ramps like hashtags on social media, and also electronic newsletters, letters, and common bibliographically oriented search terms. We will leverage these findings to develop new and innovative ways, which will continue to include print, of connecting bibliographers with BSA's resources. This work will not only benefit our community, it will also benefit other projects long in the works. We are grateful to an anonymous donor for supporting the redesign of BSA's website to be launched later this year. And the website will feature public and member-only directories designed to help people within the community and outside the community connect with each other around shared interests, and also to help journalists and cultural critics connect with experts in the field of book history. We all have wanted to write many letters to the editor, I am sure, about just things people get wrong in popular publications. BSA produces a range of excellent bibliographical work from our members and on their behalf, and those sources cannot be used if we do not deliver them and make them more easily discoverable. So finally, I'm grateful to the officers and council members, past and present, for drafting and approving the Equity Action Plan. This is absolutely an initiative of this council and the council that I have worked with in the iterations of the council I have worked with in my 4 years as executive director. In addition to our well-crafted and thoughtful mission and values statements, the EAP guides BSA as it builds on a wide array of programs that are already pillars of the bibliographical community. I offer this report today for the sake of accountability. Here's a snapshot of where we are right now. This is by no means a celebration of, oh, great, we are finished and isn't that nice. There is more to do to fulfill the commitments we've made in the EAP, and I am so proud to support all of the work that all of you do on the council and committees in reaching those goals. So thank you very much. And John McQuillan is up next.
Good afternoon, everyone. Membership in this society in 2022 numbered 722 individual members, including 136 emerging members, 403 partner, 78 sustaining, 63 lifetime, 27 leadership, 7 advancing, 3 members who are residents of Latin America, and 5 honorary members. In 2022, the society was not Okay, never mind then. In 2022, the society was not made aware of the death of any of our members. We did learn, however, of the death of Arthur Kinney, who passed away in December 21. We offer a moment of silence in his memory. That is the Secretary's report. Thank you.
I'm short. I'm Joan Friedman, and I come to you today as chair of the Audit Committee. 2022 proved to be an unusual year for the Audit Committee. We began the year with new auditors in place, selected a year earlier in a process that solicited proposals from 7 different firms recommended by our fellow ACLS organizations. At the time I reported to you last year, the new firm, Huntsman Weeble of Charlottesville, Virginia, had begun its review of our 2021 financial statements. During this process, some mistakes in the way that certain transactions had been recorded in the past were discovered. The external bookkeeping firm who had recorded those activities was experiencing a lot of turnover and was unable to help us to unravel what had happened over a period of years. We decided at length to switch to a different firm for our outside bookkeeping. Again, with the help of our ACLS colleagues, we were able to find a firm that specializes in not-for-profit organizations and has experience with associations like the BSA. It's called Charity CFO. Their staff took over our bookkeeping during the summer and succeeded in reorganizing our bookkeeping processes and rationalizing our chart of accounts to better match our actual activities. Throughout, they worked with our executive director and the auditors from Huntsman Weeble to assure that the books produce information in a format most usable to both the BSA office and to the auditors. All of this activity caused delay in completion of the review of 2021 financials, but by autumn, the auditors were able to complete their review in time to circulate to council and then file our Form 990 with the IRS on time after a single routine extension. A review involves less investigation than a full audit, and no assurances are provided, but our financials are now believed to be in good order. When the Audit Committee met with the auditor to review the review, we were extremely pleased with the format of the financials, which enables us much more easily to match up each year's results with our plans in the budget. We are especially grateful to the accountants at Charity CFO for bringing new clarity and timeliness to our financial statements. We are now receiving prompt interim statements each month. According to our usual schedule for a full audit every third year, we were scheduled for an audit for the 2022 financial statements. However, since Council voted to change our fiscal year to one ending September 30th instead of December 31st, fiscal year 2022 was a short year and one somewhat disrupted by the change in bookkeepers. For this reason, the Audit Committee recommended to Council that we have another review rather than a full audit for the short year of 2022 and undergo our next full audit for 2023, which, remember, will end September 30th of this year. At its November 5th meeting, Council approved this plan. Thus, shortly after the fiscal 2021 review was wrapped up, the executive director began working with both Huntsman Weeble and Charity CFO on the 2022 review for the fiscal year ended this past September 30th. That review is now underway and should be completed shortly. The Audit Committee will report to Council on this review at the spring meeting. With our new calendar now in place and nothing else hanging over us from the prior year, I hope to be able to report on the fiscal 2023 audit at next year's annual meeting. I would like to thank the members of my committee who succeeded in coming together, often at short notice and with greater frequency than usual this year. Their attention to detail and good counsel have benefited the Society. They are Tad Bomer, Tom Goldwasser, Mark Samuels-Lassner, and Ken Soner, with ex officio expertise from Scott Clemens and Mary Crawford. And a special thanks to our executive director, Aaron McGurl, for truly heroic work on the books this past year, work which has put the BSA and its financial recording on a sure footing for the future. Respectfully submitted.
I'm not short, but I will be short. As Joan mentioned, last year was unusually brief, only 9 months in duration. So what I will present to you very briefly on the finances only covers those 9 months. And I'm going to start with where we were on September 30th of last year. We're a pretty simple organization. We punch above our weight. We do a lot, but the finances of what we do are pretty straightforward. And so delightfully, so as not to bury any leads, we are in excellent fiscal shape, as you can see. The vast majority of our assets are held in the endowment account managed for us by Bridgewater Associates. At the end of September, that stood at a little over $3.1 million. I've not seen the December statement yet, but it's probably a little bit higher than that as of the end of the calendar year. We have a much smaller operating account, that's just a bank account, and a handful of outstanding assets that are largely prepaid expenses. Those of you who have accounting knowledge just know what that is. And we have precious few liabilities, a testament in no small part to the very tight ship that Erin runs, and she just leapt up and ran from the room. So she's running a tight ship right now, checking on the bar, I hope. This is a snapshot. I think the income and expenses side of our reports are pretty simple. Just where does the money come from, and then where does it go? 94% of our revenues, as you can see if you add up some of these slices in your head, are derived from support from members. You, everyone online watching this. 10% from direct membership dues, 42% from contributions, and the 42% from endowment are the generosity of former members that continue to give and continue to give and continue to give. So thank you for that. Thank you both now and into the future for that kind of support. Without that support, this pie chart would be more like a small tart or something like that. And keep in mind, this is a 9-month snapshot, so that's sort of 9/12 of what a year usually is. And here's how the funds get allocated. We are what is known as an operating foundation. So some foundations just take money in and then they turn around and they write a grant. We have programs, we have events, we have publications, we have a lot of things that are going on. And so we have the accoutrement that manage those and operate those things. And you see those laid out here. Again, this is only 9 months. I went back and kind of eyeballed this to pre-pandemic levels of spending. And if you think back over the first 9 months, calendar months of last year, the pandemic still impaired our ability to do certain things. So I anticipate over time that the green and the light blue and the purple parts of that pie chart will likely increase. I will end my comments with a plea, and I'm going to pick up on something Caroline said in her opening comments, and I did not plan this with her. We have what in the crass business world would be known as great brand value in the world of bibliography. We have demonstrated stewardship of our financial assets. We have demonstrated stewardship in the ability to exercise those assets in the world of bibliography. And so if there are people that you know, or if you yourself are interested in underwriting one of these prizes or fellowships, as those grow over time, I think we can magnify the effect that we have on the world of bibliography. I'm happy to talk to you about that. Caroline, Erin's happy to talk to you about that. So operators are standing by. Thank you.
So this year, the nominating committee was chaired by Barbara Scheller, with Heather Wolf as vice chair, and members Heather O'Donnell, Todd Pattison, Jacinta Saffold, and Curtis Small. After having placed an open call for nominees in September, and after careful consideration, the committee nominated Robert DiMontoya on the council. And we have now the results of the voting online, which just arrived today. The slate has passed as noon today, with 187 voting in favor, 5 opposed, and 8 abstentions. Thank you.
Afternoon. Afternoon. I'm stalling because I have stuff. My name is Derek Spires, and I have the privilege of presenting this year's St. Louis Mercantile Library Prize in Bibliography. Founded by John Neal Hoover and funded by the St. Louis Mercantile Library at the University of Missouri. The St. Louis Mercantile Library Prize is awarded every 3 years to encourage scholarship in bibliography of the American history and literature, broadly conceived. I'll also note that John will be cycling off the committee this year, so can we pause and give John a round of applause for his contribution? Hope you heard that, John. This year, the committee received nearly 20 excellent nominations for the prize, and we are very gratified to report that 2 distinguished works are sharing the Castor Award of $2,000 this year, and 2 other fine works will receive a certificate of honorable mention. Each work was considered especially on rigorous bibliographical merit, future impact and use in the classroom or research setting, and writerly craft. These books were just really well written and fun to read, which isn't always the case, you know? First, the award committee was pleased to recognize 2 works for honorable mention this year. The Klondike and Alaska Gold Rushes, a descriptive bibliography of books and pamphlets covering the years 1896 to 1905 by Gary Kurtz, published by the Book Club of California in 2021. And Black Pulp, genre fiction in the shadow of Jim Crow by Brooks F. Hefner and published by the University of Minnesota Press in 2021. Kurtz's descriptive bibliography joins his companion work on the California Gold Rush as a lasting reference tool on these formative social movements, which captured the imagination of travelers, settlers, poets, and novelists alike. Hefner's Black Pulp examines a vast body of popular literature in early 20th century African-American newspapers. From cartoons to serials, these texts uncover a literary and print history that was as entertaining and scintillating, really scintillating, as it was critical to shaping Black political and aesthetic consciousness. Let's give them a round of applause. Now, the reason I have stuff. I'd ask Professor Elizabeth McHenry and Professor Kelly Weiskup to come to the front to receive your stuff. Now, sharing the St. Louis Mercantile Prize are Elizabeth McHenry's To Make Negro Literature, Writing Literary Practice and African American Authorship, published by Duke University Press in 2021, and Kelly Weiskup's Assembled for Use, Indigenous Compilations in the Archives of Early Native American Literature, published by Yale University Press in 2021. McHenry's examination of the early 20th century paths and the vast developmental byways of African American writing in the heat of Jim Crow is a groundbreaking study, covering forms as diverse as textbooks, bibliography, and ghostwriting. Weiskup's study of the nature and process of Native American archival compilations corrects a broader social and general history, which has often merely relied on previous settler colonial archives, making for a sweeping overview of texts not often enumerated and examined to their fullest extent. In both cases, you come for the analysis, you stay for the footnotes. From its founding, the BSA St. Louis Mercantile Book Prize has worked hard to recognize a diverse and inclusive body of bibliographical literature, and this year is no exception. Now spanning 3 decades and nearly 20 years of service to the BSA, the committee, John Hoover, Scott Casper, Lindsay DeQuerta, Julia Dunn Morton, Sarah Hodge, George Miles, Brittany West, wishes to congratulate these fine authors and to encourage once again BSA members to engage and who are engaged in American bibliography to submit to the competition. And so just you can see, we have beautiful box, and also I had to practice this. Beautiful medal. Oh, wow. 2 sides. Professor Elizabeth McHenry.
Hello, everyone. My name is Paloma Celis Carvajal, and I'll be announcing the fellows for this year. For the past 40 years, through its multiple, I wanted that to be later shown, but oh well. For the past 40 years, through its multiple fellowships, the Bibliographical Society of America has promoted the inquiry and research on the history of book or manuscript production, publication, distribution, collecting, or reading, and the history of bibliographical study itself. With a modest but growing budget of $51,500, 9,000 of which are from endowed fellowships, such as Peiser, 14,000 from BSA endowment funds used for BSA-sponsored awards and jointly sponsored awards, and 28,500 fellowships sponsored entirely by donors. It's important to note that these funds cover only the cost of the awards. Staff time to administer them represents another investment that the BSA makes in this important program. These fellowships have funded hundreds of projects over these years. For example, between 2000 and 2022, there were 261 BSA fellows. I was going to count them all, but when I got to the 2000, I'm like, that's an impressive number already. The committee is proud to announce that the interest for these fellowships is steadily growing. This year, we received almost twice as many proposals than the year before. We had almost 60 proposals. The year before, it was 37, I think. Which meant many more dozens of highly qualified applications. These projects range from the Middle Ages to contemporary times on a diversity of topics and textual artifacts that represented cultures from all over the world. As one of the reviewers, I must say that it was a pleasure reading them all and learning about this fascinating diversity of projects, these. It was an exciting and very tough task for the committee to select the awardees from such a strong pool. This is why we are so committed to expanding the program and seek to build up the joint awards we offer with other learned societies, build relationships with new foundations, work with donors with the capacity to fund awards on an annual basis, and build endowments. If you can help, we hope you will. And now, without further ado, and because we have a little bit of time constraints, we're just showing the names. There's two slides of names. They're all fascinating topics, and you will be able to see them all in the website, next week in the website. Thank you very much.
And now, the future. Endowing the Dorothy Porter Fellowship. The Council is proud to announce that Lisa Unger-Baskin has made a promised gift of $42,500, half of the total amount required to endow the Dorothy Porter Wellesley Fellowship in perpetuity. The fellowship of $3,000 is awarded each year to a bibliographer identifying as Black for research on any topic. The award was established in 2021 thanks to the vision and generosity of BSA Honorary Member and President Emerita Barbara Scheller and Mary and Bruce Crawford, who are funding the award through 2023. In honor of Lisa Unger-Baskin's 80th birthday on June 27, 2023, mark this on your calendar, the Council calls on our community to join her in the effort to make contributions in Lisa's name and fully endow the Dorothy Porter Wellesley Fellowship in perpetuity. The name of the fellowship will honor Dorothy Porter Wellesley and Black bibliographers in perpetuity. Crediting the endowment to Lisa Unger-Baskin in the fellowship's description will recognize and honor Lisa's lifelong activism through collecting, bookselling, philanthropy, and service in the field. No contribution is too small, and all gifts are fully tax deductible to the extent permitted by law. Supporters can give online with a credit or debit card, and individuals wishing to donate stock or retirement funds or make major gifts toward this effort may contact Executive Director Erin McGill for more information by emailing her. And also, for those who are in the room, do not forget to take, there's some beautiful, with the brochures, some information on how you can make some gift on the table by the membership information. And feel free, as Scott said, also to please do come to Scott, Erin, and I after this meeting if you're interested in making a donation today. All contributors will be listed in the December 2024 issue of PBSA. Individuals may give anonymously and will be recognized according to their wishes. Endowing the Dorothy Porter Wellesley Fellowship will help the Society continue to foster the work of Black bibliographers, enriching our multidisciplinary and multifaceted professional field with essential scholarship relevant to our work in libraries, the book trade, and as students and teachers in the academy. And now I would like to adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much.